Greetings, I'm George Foster Rhymes and I'm in Valdosta, Georgia. We have an election coming up here in Valdosta and Lowndes County in the state of Georgia. We will be choosing between J.D. Yeager, the Lowndes County Sheriff, or present incumbent Chris Prine for Sheriff. They will serve as the Lowndes County Sheriff. But the question we must ask today, as the train of life, the train of equal justice under the law, comes into the minds of the citizens in our community, we must ask the both of them before we cast our vote. Who will look into the conditions in the Lowndes County Jail? How many deaths had occurred in the Valdosta and Lowndes County Jail? What are the problems with the medical staff in the jail? Why can't inmates read something as simple as a newspaper? What about the law library and inmates' access to one? The procedures on when inmates are taken from the jail and transported to the local hospitals. Why? And how many deaths have occurred in the Lowndes County Jail since 1994 to 2009? And from 2009 to the present. What will they do concerning citizens' complaints that they file while incarcerated? But from what they tell me on the word on the street is that little to nothing is followed up. What will these two people say to the citizens and to the voters here in Valdosta and Lowndes County? How many public forums have these two individuals performed in here in Valdosta and Lowndes County with citizens and voters participating? Moreover, who among us, which one of these candidates, Chris Prine or J.D. Yeager, both have had a golden opportunity to resolve the alleged unnecessary death and abuse in our jail. We don't want the jail to be a paradise, but we do believe that America and the state of Georgia is a nation of laws. And therefore, the things that Judge Hugh Lawson found in his 1997 court order in June of the Middle District of Georgia, wherein he found 105 violations that denied citizens of their constitutional rights. This was civil action number 89-54-VAL. I wrote the sheriff. I wrote the district attorney. I wrote the Honorable Judge Hugh Lawson of the Middle District of Georgia. And I asked them. I also wrote Sarah Crow of the Lowndes County courts as well. And I asked them, I got it all on kvci.blogspot.com. If you Google jaildeaths.blogspot.com, you can review. This has been going on since 1998. At one point, We are told that the Lowndes County Jail are not subject to the Open Records Act, therefore we don't even have a right to know how many deaths have taken place. Our local newspaper, we only have one. When America's Georgia got 46 newspapers, many that address the black issues in the black community. When we read our newspaper, we find very little about the cutting-edge problem that regular people on the street have on a daily basis. And this is why I started blogging, and this is why I started this YouTube channel, because I served my country to protect the rights of foreigners, and so that's why I returned home. And when I found out that there seemed to be a pattern in practice to keep the citizens ignorant so they cannot make intelligent decisions based on facts of information, that's when I started doing what I do. You know that the Lake Park Post, right down in Lake Park, Georgia, did a superb job in reporting what other newspapers, television, and radio would not publish. And as you know, they were sued out of existence by persons unknown. But that's not the point. The point is, who will you vote for? Both candidates have had a long and good opportunity to fix the problems in the jail. Once again, we don't want the jail to be a paradise, but we don't want this red cloud over this metropolitan city, the last big city before you reach the state of Florida. We don't need that red cloud that Valdosta, Georgia is leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths. We don't need that. We don't need it. We are home to Moody Air Force Base, a federal installation. We are home to Valdosta State University, Georgia Military College, Georgia Wiregrass Technical College, Kinderloo Golf Course, Francis Lake, and Wild Adventures Theme Park. Wild Adventures Theme Park, where people come from around the nation to visit Titletown, USA. They praise us for our football, but what about our open government? And what about we leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths? Valdosta and Lowndes County are leading even Fulton County up in Atlanta in jail deaths. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got churches. Yeah, we got ministers, pastors, bishops, imams, rabbis, monks, and you. And you. But when it comes down to us exercising our rights as concerned Americans, we placate, we imitate, and we duplicate the life of Moses, Jesus, Mohammed, Buddha, Allah, and others. But when it comes down to doing what Jesus said, love your neighbor as you love yourself, we are nowhere to be found. Isn't it strange with all the people that are in church today? This is Sunday. All the people in church, but when it comes down to standing up, asking the right question, supporting the people who are trying to give you the truth, like John Quarterman on his lakefront Lowndes County Knowledge Exchange, and Miss Gretchen, who is also running for the chairman of the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners. Isn't it strange how Lee Touchton, a white Caucasian European, stand up for black folk when our own black leaders sit back and say and do little in the eyes of the public? I'm not saying they don't do great works, because they do. But when it comes down to putting themselves on the line and speaking out publicly on the issues here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America, nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And Brother Rhymes, I'm not criticizing anyone, if you notice, because I'm included. I'm not doing what I need to do. And so our children continues to possess an inferiority complex. An inferiority complex. They think there's something wrong with them. Yeah, because they don't own any of the big buildings downtown. Their mothers and fathers don't own any of these businesses. All we can own is funeral homes, churches, and that's about it for the most part. Yet we can fill the jails and prisons and probation officers, and we go to probation, I'm told by the young people tell me that the probation officers talk to them like they're dirt. They talk about the drug squad. They talk about others, how they come to their homes and don't have search warrants. I didn't create this. But somewhere Jesus said, when you mistreat the least of these, my brethren, then you also do it unto me. And so if we really love Jesus, and we see the destruction in our community, and across the state, and across this community, and across the nation, and we continue to talk about the hereafter, way up in the sky, by and by after we die. What good is my religion? What good is my Holy Ghost? What good is me going to church on Sunday or on the Sabbath, or G.B.R on Friday in Islam? Going to, on Friday evening, going to another prayer service and bear meeting on Saturday evening, and we can't stand up for anything. Yet we claim that we stand up for the right. I'm here to say to you in closing that you cannot stand up for the right. I'm gonna repeat, say it again. I know some of you all need to turn your earplugs up. You cannot stand up for the right unless you stand up against the wrong. You can't stand up for the right unless you stand up against the wrong. In our community, in our county, in our state, in our nation, and in our world. There come a time in this life when we gotta stop going overseas to fight in foreign countries, put our life on the line, our children slaughtered and blown to bits on the battlefield. In most cases, fighting wars that we know little to nothing about. We don't know the foreign policy that got us over there. But when somebody tell us to take that hill, as I did out of ignorance, that's what I did. Because I didn't understand, or rather overstand, then what I overstand today. Most minorities need to return home. All the foreign lands to return back to this land and start over again and fight for their own rights here in the United States of America. More so here in Valdosta-Lowndes County in the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia is an at-will to work state. Young people, active duty military people, listen. You are living in an at-will to work state, which means you can be fired for good cause, bad cause, or for no cause at all, and your employer does not have to even tell you why you were terminated. Did you hear what I say? And the sad thing about it is that most of us parents don't give a damn. Yeah, we'll go to church, we'll go to mosque, we'll go to synagogue, we'll go to the club, we'll go to other large gatherings, but when it comes down to standing up for the good of our little children, our mothers and our fathers and our sisters and our brothers, we are nowhere to be found. Nowhere. And so our children keep filling the jails and prisons. Yeah. And so I'm calling on the righteous, if there be any left, to do what Jesus said. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. The question was asked, Jesus, when have we mistreated you? When have we turned against you, Jesus? When have we placated, duplicated, and imitated you, Jesus? When did we back up from you, Jesus? When did we back up from you, Muhammad? When did we back up from you, Buddha? When did we back up from you, Allah? When did we back up from ordinary people. And Jesus came forward as a man of righteousness as he was. He came before the world and he said these words: when you mistreat the least of these, my brethren, you do it also unto me. When you fail to feed the hungry, when you fail to take care of the widows, the orphans, and the destitute, unlike Rush Limbaugh and others who can't find anything good to say about anybody unless they are in their groovement and movement. But Jesus said, when you do it unto the least of these, my brother, you do it also unto me. And so I said it once, I said it twice, and now I'll say it thrice. How can you say you love Jesus, Muhammad, Allah, the son of Amram and Yoshabel Moses, or any other of those great worthies, or Martin Luther King, or Noble Drew Ali, or John Brown? How can you say you love them and you see your fellow Americans going to hell, unemployed, can't find a job? We are leading the planet in incarcerating our own children. Oh, we're not talking about a race thing. We're talking about a right thing. And we are talking about all these people who claim to be among the righteous. Once again, as I close this, please do not forget, Jesus said, when you mistreat the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you do it also unto me. And the God of creation, the Father of Jesus, said, I have no respecter of persons. For what I say unto one, I say unto all. And this is the thrust of my bus, to give you the truth, because only the truth will set us free. It's not by going to church. It's not by going to mosque. It's not by going to synagogue that's going to set us free. But only truth will set us free. And so I appeal unto those people who are running for elected office to stand up for the least among you and be real in what you do. And above all, let us address the issues. Why we are leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths. It don't have to be that way. For whatever reason, there may be a reasonable solution. There may be a justified cause why we are leading the state of Georgia, Valdosta and Lowndes County. So let us all do what Jesus said. Let us love our brothers and sisters, because we are all children of the Most High. This is kvci.blogspot.com. George Boston Rhymes, doing what I do because I was taught from a child that Christ once lived, and he promised us that his spirit would be in the hearts of men. And if we do not exemplify the God spirit that was in him and others who gave their lives, then what good? What good is our religion? Bye-bye. We gone.